We got to understand we can't stop consciousness from doing what it wants to do or what it's destined to do. Usually, when we refer to ourself or me or I, we're talking about this human bot self, this mind, this emotions, my desires, sensations, my strengths and weaknesses, my, capacity to understand certain spiritual pointing, all that stuff. This is what one refers to when they talk and think about themselves. They have this self-talk. Oh, but I don't know. I have the mind tells stories. It judges first. It judges itself, which the only way you can really judge yourself is if you're comparing yourself to other people. You see, if there were no other people here and just you, you wouldn't. Hey, okay, I am what I am. Yeah, you need to come back to that state. But people, especially now, the internet, you got all these. I don't know what they are, but they're doing stuff on the internet, and so then the mind, like, judges. No, I don't know. It could be negative or positive. You're better than them, or you're worse than them, whatever. But so then or books, same. The mind projects. It reads something and then projects onto this being that it's reading about that it doesn't know at all. It projects the mind projects what, based on their words, what you're reading, you think that they're a certain way, and then you compare that to your own self. And then you're like, damn, no, I don't know. I can't like wake up, or I can't evolve in my consciousness because like I'm not even close to what this person's saying or writing. You see, so the problem starts there. Okay. But you can't stop this evolution from happening though. Like you can't stop it. Consciousness wants to do it. Consciousness put you here. Like we have to remember that. You didn't even make yourself come here. So do you think that there was some, somehow you just accidentally ended up here? No one can say, well, yeah, my parents, they were getting it on, and no, but that's superficial level. I'm talking about, like, do you realize there's a higher principle behind everything and there's no mistakes? There's a slogan that says God either is or he isn't. It's not like, oh yeah, this is this is God working here, but like, oh no, over here, no, over here is the devil. No, but who like made the devil? Yeah, God, right? Gave the devil a job to do some things, and devil's good at it. So, but that's not God. Yeah, it's God. Everything God. What's God though? Yeah, that's the problem. Our minds try to define and conceptualize the infinite. It's like a little 2-year-old trying to understand, like, their father's a rocket scientist. The 2-year-old wants to like understand like how he like builds rocket ships. Like, you can't do it. But there can be some intuitive understanding where you just, that's the best way you can say it, Then the mind says, well, if you know, you should be able to articulate it. No, mind, I'm like on another level than you, so leave me alone. Don't try to understand what I'm understanding. There's different levels of intelligence and consciousness in us. There's like different motherboards or something, where like we can be functioning and understanding from a certain state in us, while at the same time there's potential to elevate and understand from another state. This is if people haven't experienced that already. Sometimes when they do plant medicine, then it's clear. It's like, oh yeah, this does exist. But you can't just depend on some external thing to give that to you. I mean, it can give you a taste, it's cool, but somehow this has to open up inside ourselves. And that's the whole point, it will. Don't measure it with the mind. See, the mind wants to measure things. I'm not like where I want to be. And I went backwards the other day. I was like, I was in peace for a while, but then like my old relationship partner bothered me. Damn them. And now I lost my peace. And then you'll hear somebody say, no, but if you're really awake, you'll never lose your peace. Oh, damn it. I guess I'm not conscious anymore, or whatever the self-talk is. Don't trust your feelings so much. Don't trust your current, like, people believe too much in their feelings, man. You have to go backwards to go forwards. There's no other way. Like, you have to. Going backwards is going forwards. See, you have to understand that. Now that will set you free when you understand there's actually no going backwards. It just looks like we're going backwards. Yeah, can you meditate and contemplate that and let that ring true for you? Do you have the capacity to understand that paradoxical principle? If we're talking about, for the mind, that's paradoxical. It doesn't understand. Mind only understands I'm going this way or that way. It doesn't understand now you're actually going both ways. That's what's happening when you're going backwards, you're going forwards. You have to, because of this game that God created, going backwards means either we made a mistake or some deeper, repressed energies are coming up, and then that creates this, you can say, heavy or negative feeling in the emotional body, and then you feel like, oh, that like blocked my peace, so I'm going backwards. No, that's coming up to be purged, to be, nullified, or to have some dissolution, so that then you can experience the serenity that's underneath all that. Before we have conditioning and thoughts and trauma and all that, there's serenity. Look at the little baby who's a baby. It's just chilling in the crib, and it's deeply serene. It doesn't know it's serene, though. This is the purpose of the human life. It's enjoying the serenity, but it's not like self-aware that it's serene. Now, some will say, yes, it is. Okay, that's cool. No problem. Now, what happens is, because it's written in the script, the baby starts getting conditioned by the world and society and parents and religion and everything, and then it becomes ignorant. All these things we think we're learning, all the internet freaks that they think they know something, it's like, do you know that you need to delete all this stuff you think you know? It's not serving you. It's just making you weird. But the ego likes it and wants to think it knows something. So we start to learn all these things, and I got so much knowledge. Geniuses are the worst, man. I've had a few friends actually in my life. They're cool, they're fun, they're like walking encyclopedias. But when it comes to intuition, they got no idea. It was like that movie Good Will Hunting with Matt Damon and Robin Williams. And there was a scene where Robin Williams asked him, he's like, I bet if I asked you what love is, you'd just give some kind of quote from, a poet or something, but have you actually experienced it? You see, that's the problem with when we get too much information and we have no experience. Nowadays, you just sit in your room with the internet and you can learn on an informational level about everything, but know nothing. So how does that tie in? You're a nice baby, you're serene, you go out, you start learning, getting conditioned, and then you become ignorant, imagining that you're becoming smart. Yeah. Then you learn through pain. Why? Because I told you, consciousness is evolving no matter what. You can't stop it. So even this so-called mistake that you don't know you're making, that later you'll find out you're making, that gets used for the highest good and purpose for your evolution. Because you crash and burn on it. You bottom out. At some point, there's a realization in you that this knowledge, this information, it's not knowledge. You learn the difference between information and knowledge. The mind abstracts the two for a while. You're like, this is actually keeping me sick, man. All this information, I can't use it to make myself feel good. I still feel miserable. I'm actually admitting it now. For a while, we don't even know we feel miserable. We'll say, nah, I feel great, man. I'm awakened. So at some point, through evolution, God crashes all that, and then you start to surrender. The surrender principle activates. Surrender is not a volitional act. You can't just say, oh, I surrender. Surrender is a subconscious, involuntary, spontaneous, just let go. You have to work. You have to let evolution take you to that point. Then it's authentic. When that happens, then you start to experience some serenity. Why? Because that's at the bottom of everything, this serenity. All these other things and the issues and trauma and information and ego, that seems to be eclipsing the serenity. So when you surrender, that starts to dissolve, and then you're left with the serenity. So then you're back like the baby was, but the difference is you're more self-aware. Your machine has matured and grown and evolved to the point to where now it's more self-conscious. The little babies aren't self-conscious, or the animals. Yeah, but animals are more conscious than humans. I know what they're trying to say, but that's not what I'm saying. pointing to something else, but I don't have time to like get into that and try to explain everything. It's like I'm talking to the people who already get this. Those are my people. I can't waste time on other things because I just don't have no energy. I want to focus on those who they get it. That gives me energy. I'm like, oh yeah, good. All right, so you can't miss. You can't miss. Like, you can't miss. Remember that and contemplate that. Let this purging happen. You can't stop it anyway. You can't, like, what are we gonna do? Just fight it? I don't wanna feel this way. Okay, does that help? You gotta find it within yourself. Say this to accept this. Make this prayer. Say this prayer, like, God, help me bear this. Help me bear this moment right now. Don't believe in your feelings so much in this moment. That's almost like a misnomer, this whole, just be present in the moment. This moment's changing. This moment's like past now. I was being present. Where's the moment, you know? When people are practicing being present, they're usually, because they can't help it, it's the mind, they're trying to be present on what's happening. They're more focused on the happening. The real presence is deep sleep. Did you get a good feeling of what presence is then? Yeah, that's presence. But when you keep focusing on like, okay, this is what's happening, I'm making a video, so I'm gonna be like present. You get caught up too much in the show sometimes because you're like really focused on trying to be present, but you're focused on like the dynamic play of life. And then dynamic play of life is like this, you know, it's all messed up. So give space for the play of life to happen. Don't trust your feelings so much or this moment so much. The mind will say, if you're feeling good, or if you had some spiritual experience, the mind will say, well, I'm awake. It'll stamp it with some kind of eternal label or think you're gonna feel good forever. No, it's gonna change, man. Life shifts. Or if you're feeling bad or depressed, the mind says you're gonna feel like this forever. I used to say that all the time. I got to where I would just, anytime, I would make fun of it. That's my style. I'd feel a cold, I'd have a cold, like when I was younger, and I'd tell my mom, I ask her, like, am I gonna feel like this forever? See, I was making fun of my own mind somehow, you know. Nothing's forever. Everything's always changing and moving. You feel at peace now, your peace is gonna change. The experience of it, the intensity of it, it's always gonna change. It's gonna fluctuate. Sometimes the dimmer light switch is turned up, sometimes it's down. This is life. You have to get to where you give space for all that to happen. You don't care. You're not attached to the peace anymore, nor are you like scared if you feel heaviness. You're just somehow like, you let life play. It's like, damn, this isn't my life. I used to think it was, but now I just see it's not. You're not like deciding that it's not your life. It's just not your life. You didn't put yourself here. You're not, you know, can't control the life force in you of how it's attracting things and how it's moving you to do certain things. And you just, something realizes that more and more. And you're like, I'm done. I've always been done, but now I've kind of like, I'm more aware that I'm done. And that's what you do. You can't understand these things on an intellectual level. This is what I'm sharing is for people who, it's already alive in you. Yeah, that's what we're doing here. We're strengthening that. I'll see you.